Good morning. Welcome to the 5th Joint Public Hearing. On behalf of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, the meeting is now called to order.
On behalf of the Committee on Public Order, this subcommittee now is hereby called to order.
For the Committee of Human Rights, this hearing is now called to order.
For the Committee on Public Accounts, the hearing is now called to order.
Thank you, co-chairs. Comsec, can you please lead the prayer for today's committee hearing?
Please stand. Let us place ourselves in God's presence. Almighty Father, we commend our nation to your merciful care, that we may live securely in peace and be guided by your providence. Bestow upon all our leaders the wisdom and strength to know your will and do it. Help them remember that they are called to serve the people as lovers of truth and justice. Grant them the grace to make the hard decisions they need to make. May we serve without prejudice or partiality, in times of prosperity or poverty, peace or war. May every civil servant be a person of integrity, reliability, and commitment, respecting and adhering to the rule of law, one who serves out of a sincere compassion for their fellow men, never seeking personal gain, status, or prestige. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulubi, di ka pasisigil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit kong baghang, may ilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang may magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng aming pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo, aming ligaya na pag may mamapit, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please take your seats. The next part of the agenda is the roll call of our members and the acknowledgement of our resource persons. Is there any motion?
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Akop?
may I respectfully move that we dispense with the calling of the roll. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. Duly seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is carried. The next part of our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the meeting held last September 4, 2024. Is there any motion?
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Akop?
may I respectfully move that we dispense with the readings of the minutes of the meeting held on September 4, 2024 and consider it as approved. So move, Mr. Chair.
There
Second,
is a
Mr. Chair.
motion
Second, Mr. Chair.
to dispense with the calling of the roll. Dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last hearing we had in September 4, 2024, and consider the approval of the same. Duly seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is carried. To our dear honorable members, please allow the chair to deliver his opening remarks. Esteemed colleagues, to our Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Dong Gonzales, our Deputy Speaker, Kong J.J. Suarez, to my co-chairs and vice-chairs, guests and resource persons, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. As we continue with our Quadcom hearing, we likewise continue with our quest for answers, for the truth, for justice, and for peaceful endings and closures to issues that plague our nation. We continue to hope for lasting solutions, as well so that the issues that now haunt us will never happen again. In our past hearings, we have established the following. First, syndicates flood our country with drugs in connivance with corrupt government employees and officials. To address this, a major bill is pending before us proposing important amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act. Hopefully, Congress will pass it to law before the 19th Congress ends. Next, we have seen and heard how both the innocent and the guilty were summarily executed, all in the name of cleansing the country with drug personalities. Accounts vary and reliable reports are hard to get. Until now, vital documents have to be subpoenaed just so the truth can see the light of day. We will be patient. We will be steadfast in our resolve and make no mistake about it. Today, as we continue to probe the issue on the extrajudicial killings, we shall endeavor to pluck the truth from the pile of lies and make our case in order to give justice and peace to the souls of those who perished in the dark of night while the nation watched in fear and deadly silence. Nananawagan kami sa mga iba pang may nalalaman sa mga karumal-dumal na mga pangyayari kung saan naaabuso ng iilang na gamit ng mga kawani ng gobyerno ang kanilang kapangyarihan. At saglit na nakalimot sa sinumpaang tungkulin na protektahan ang sambayanan sa mga kalaban ng batas. Narito po kami handang makinig sa inyong sasabihin. Sa mga nakalipas na pagdinig, ipinakita namin sa inyo na ang mga nagpapahayag ng mga testimonya ay pawang mga taong may direktang kaalaman o partisipasyon sa mga bagay-bagay na isinisiwalat dito. Wala pong chismis o marites na lumalabas dito. Wala pong mga hearsay. Lahat po ng inilalabas dito ay metikulosong hinihimay, sinisiyasat, at sinisiguradong katotohanan at pawang katotohanan lamang. Wala pong pamumulitika dito sa investigasyong ito. When we started hearing the Mexico-Pampanga drug bust in 2023, we never thought that it would grow this big. What we hit was but the tip of the iceberg. Where this ends is a solution we are all prepared to face, yet dread. We have opened a Pandora's box, so to speak. There is no turning back, only courage to move forward. Ang inyong pong patuloy na interes sa panunood at pakikinig sa amin ang siyang nagbibigay ng lakas ng loob sa amin upang mapagpatuloy na hanapin ang katotohanan at maibalik ang katahimikan sa ating lipunan. Tulungan po ninyo kami para sa kapakanan nating lahat. Puksain natin ang iligal na droga na siyang salot na sumisira sa ating bayan at sa ating mga pamilya. Isumbong niyo po sa Quadcom ang mga pang-aabuso at pagmamalabis na nagaganap sa maling pagpapatupad ng mga batas. Kami po ay inyong kakampi at kasangga. Magandang umaga. Good morning to all our colleagues and to our resource persons as well. The next to deliver his opening remarks is our chair of the Committee on Human Rights, Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized.
Sa atin pong Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales, sa ating Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, sa mga kasamahan kong Quadcom Co-Chair, Vice Chair, at sa atin pong mga pinagpipitaganang mga kasama rito sa ating Kongreso. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Thou shalt not kill. This is the seventh commandment of God. As written in the Bible, which is also the penal code of the nation of Israel in the Old Testament. And as I quote in Leviticus 24:17, whosoever takes a human life shall surely be put to death. End of quote. Deuteronomy 27:25, as I quote, cursed be anyone who takes a bribe to shed innocent blood. End of quote. And finally, in Genesis chapter 9, verses 5 to 6, and I quote, "And for your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. This, quadcom, is now the reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image." Today's hearing of the Joint Committee will focus on the extrajudicial killings committed as a consequence of the anti-illegal drugs policy implemented under the administration of the former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. The Committee on Human Rights, prior to the creation of this Joint Committee, conducted a total of 6 hearings in aid of legislation to finally determine, after 8 long years, the truth behind the bloody drug war. The committee has endeavored to find out whether the fundamental rights to life, liberty, and property have been upheld, whether the state, as the primary duty bearer to promote, protect, and fulfill human rights obligation, has faithfully done its duties, and whether our domestic laws and international human rights laws, treaties, and conventions to which the Philippines is a state party have been fully and properly observed. The Philippine Constitution is very explicit as it states in Article 3, Section 1 of the Bill of Rights, and I quote, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." Without due process of law. May I repeat this? Without due process of law. Nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. End of quote. But this constitutional provision, my dear colleagues and friends, the very heart and soul of the Bill of Rights, was transgressed. Reported deaths and 345,216 arrested in police operations, as cited by the National Union of People's Lawyers, to the report of Attorney Jose Manuel Jocno of Free Legal Assistance Group, stating unassailable data obtained from the Supreme Court and Bank extended resolution relative to the Almora versus Philippine National Police case GR 234359 2017, which indicated that the Duterte administration's anti-drug campaign from July 1, 2016 to November 27, 2017 recorded a total of 20,322 deaths, or a daily average of 39.46 deaths. The 2017 year-end accomplishment report of the Duterte administration highlighted as key accomplishments the deaths of 3,967 drug personalities who died in anti-drug operations and 16,355 homicide cases under investigation as of 30 September 2017. Meanwhile, PNP spokesman Bernard Bannock reported a total of 29,000 deaths probed, committed by perpetrators, both known and unknown, as of 06 March 2019. The testimonies of Chief Senior Superintendent Gerardo Padilla and the persons deprived of liberty, Andy Magdadado and Leopoldo Tan, in the previous hearings have only affirmed that violent killings did not only occur outside the walls of prisons, but also within the jail premises. this representation with all of my colleagues and my co-chairman in the Quad Committee wish to push the inquiry further. I dare and call upon the families of victims to come out in the open and testify before this joint committee with unbridled courage and conviction, and help us pursue truth and justice for the sake of your children, parents, and spouses whom you have lost without due process of law or equal protection of the laws. Please allow us, your representatives in Congress, to help you seek justice for your loved ones in the most beneficent, humane, and lawful manner that we could. And I also believe that not only must laws be reviewed, amended, or enacted in this inquiry, but that Congress must be enabled to fully exercise its inherent oversight functions over the mandates, systems, and processes of the entire bureaucracy, and ensure that the human rights and dignity of our Filipino people are restored, respected, and preserved without any reservation. It is high time that we hold to account the perpetrators of those human rights violations and who have created a culture of impunity in what we may now describe as one of the darkest periods of our history. But in order to achieve this, we need the full cooperation and support of the victims and their families as we work relentlessly for the rule of law and a regime of truth, justice, and freedom. Nais ko pong ulitin ang binanggit ng ating lead chair tungkol sa pag-iimbita sa mga nakakaalam ng SOG killings na ito dito sa Quadcom upang lalo nating mapaigi ang ating investigasyon. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Congressman Benny Abante. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Dan Fernandez. You are recognized.
In the spirit of time, Mr. Chairman, I'll be submitting this to the COMSEC. Thank you so much.
Congressman Fernandez. The next to deliver his opening remarks is Congressman Joseph Caraps Paduano, the Chair of the Committee on Public Accountability. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The same as my motion during the previous hearing. I have with me a copy of my opening remarks, and I respectfully submit my opening remarks to the COMSEC for purposes of records, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Paduano. May we now direct the Committee Secretary to please acknowledge all the members of this honorable committee present in our committee hearing today. COMSEC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Today, we have with us the honorable members of the Joint Committee. We have with us, aside from our Chairperson Robert Ace Barbers, we also have Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzales Jr., Chairperson Danis Fernandez of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Chairperson Joseph Stephen Caraps Paduano of the Committee on Public Accounts, Chairperson Bienvenido M. Abante Jr. of the Committee on Human Rights, Representative Romeo M. Acop, Representative Deputy Speaker David J.J. Suarez, Representative Jonathan Keith T. Flores, Representative Johnny T. Pimentel, Representative Faustino Michael Carlos D. III, Representative Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez, Representative Yasser, Deputy Speaker Yasser Alonto Adjong, Representative Jerville Jinky Beatrix R. Luistro, Representative Franz Castro, Representative Sirio Dagook, Representative Renante Arrogancia, Representative Zia Alonto Adjong, Representative Lianda Bolilia, Representative Francisco Paulo Ortega V, Representative Gabriel Bordado Jr., Representative Ray Reyes, Representative Raul Daniel Manuel, Representative Seriaco Gato Jr., Representative Arnan Panaligan, Representative Ernesto Junicio Jr., Representative Edward Maceda, Representative Joseph Arturo Jojo Garcia Jr., Representative Joseph Jojo Lara, Representative Presley De Jesus, Representative Janet Garin, Representative Amparo Maria Zamora, Representative Chino Miguel Almario, Representative Bonifacio Bosita, Representative Ching Bernos. That's all for the members present, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. For our resource persons, we have with us from the Commission on Human Rights, the chairperson, Attorney Richard P. Palpal Latok. From the Department of the Interior and Local Government, we have Undersecretary Juan Victor Llamas. From the Department of Justice, we have with us Senior Deputy State Prosecutor Marcia Haugan. From the Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, Director General Gregorio Catapang Jr., Senior Inspector Noni Foro, Senior Chief Inspector Jerome M. Glaze, and CSO1 Ramel N. Villajos. From the National Police Commission, we have the Vice Chairperson and CEO Alberto A. Bernardo. And also we have the former NAPOLCOM Commissioner Edelberto Leonardo. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Attorney Angelito DLP Magno, the Assistant Director for Investigation, Attorney Ross Jonathan V. Galicia, the Chief of the Anti-Drug Division, Attorney Dennis Victor Asistio, Attorney Florendo Gamunac, Attorney J. Erorita, Attorney Joselito Valle, and also Attorney Ruben Aizon Jr. from the Office of the Solicitor General. From the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, we have with us the Director General, Moro Virgilio M. Lazo, Attorney Francis S. Del Valle, Director 3 Wardley Hitalia of the Plans and Operations of the PIDEA. From the Philippine National Police, we have Police Brigadier General Eleazar Mata, Police Colonel Marvin Marcos, Police Colonel Carlito Grijaldo, Police Lieutenant Colonel Jovi Espinido, and Attorney Brigido De Jesus Dulay. We also invited non-government organizations, advocates for human rights. We have with us from the Center for International Law, Attorney Joel Butuyan. From the Free Legal Assistance Group, or FLAG, Attorney Jose Manuel I. Jokno, its chairperson. From the National Union of People's Lawyers, Attorney Neri Javier Colmenares. From the Rise Up for Life and for Rights, we have Father Manuel Gatchalian, Mr. Manuel Mogato, and the Cones Robilin Litao. We also invited former government officials, and we have with us Police Major General Albert Ferro, Police Colonel Royena M. Garma, that's all, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. And yeah, we have another representative who came in, Representative Ron P. Salo.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Comsec. Before we proceed with the interpellation of the members, may I ask who among our resource persons present who have not taken their oath yet, Comsec? And after which, please administer the oath of those resource persons who have not taken their oath yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those who have attended this meeting for the first time, please stand. And please stand for your oath. And please raise your right hand for your oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry, so help you God? Thank you, Your Honors. Mr. Chairman, you may take your seats, please.
Okay, thank you. Before, again, we proceed with the committee hearing, may we ask the Honorable Vice Chair of these 4 standing committees to please state for the record the ground rules for our committee hearing today. And with that, may I call on Congressman Romy Acop, the Chair of the Committee on Transportation, to please state for the record the ground rules for today's committee hearing. Congressman Acop, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee would just like to remind our committee members, other House members, and our resource persons that if they want to make statements or ask questions, the resource persons are given 5 minutes for their presentation. And for our committee and House members, they will be given 10 minutes each for their interpellation, excluding the answers of the resource persons. No member except the lead chairperson or the presiding officer shall be allowed to speak or make interjections during the course of the interpellation of a member unless and until recognized by the lead chairperson or the presiding officer. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Acop. I hope the ground rules are clear, and we would like to give the opportunity to the members to propound questions while no interjections, no interruptions, and that is the promise of the Quad. Now, may we also ask if our resource persons present, like Colonel Ruina Garma, do you have a lawyer with you? And may we ask your lawyer to enter his appearance before this committee hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. Emerito Kilang, I'm entering my appearance as counsel for Ms. Garma, Your Honor. I'm based in Tuguegarao City. My roll number is 31961.
Okay, thank you, Attorney
Kilang, Your
Kilang.
Yes, Your
Attorney
Honor.
Kilang, sorry. Let me just remind you that the role of the counsel of the witness is limited only to advising her of her rights.
I had read the rules, Your Honor.
You cannot coach her.
Yeah.
You cannot answer in her behalf. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat po. Now, may we also ask Attorney Kilang to please occupy the seat behind the witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the seats are reserved for resource persons and witnesses which we called to appear before this committee.
Yes, Your Honor. I will
Thank
do that,
you.
Your Honor.
Paige, can you please provide a chair for Attorney Kilang?
Mr.
Okay,
Chair,
let us now proceed with the administrative matters. Congressman Paduano? Oh,
yes,
Congressman
Mr. Chair,
Pimentel.
that is precisely what I was pointing at. Before we proceed to the interpellation, can we tackle some matters? May I inquire from the COMSEC if SPO for Artner Solis is present?
Comsec?
Mr. Chairman.
With the indulgence of Congressman Pimentel, yes, Congressman Paduano.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. SPO for Nasoles was invited during the previous hearing. He was issued the show cause order dated August 22. August 28. And he was issued by Asepuenas last September 4, Mr. Chairman. That's the status of PMMS Arturo Nasoles, and until now, he is not present in today's hearing. No response or reply yet to the show cause, and now he was issued subpoena last September 4, Mr. Chairman.
On this note, Mr. Chair, under our rules, since we have already issued a subpoena, SPO for Artner Solis is still a no-show. Mr. Chair, this representation would like to move
that we cite for contempt Art Narsolis to appear in this court. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to cite in contempt Mr. Art
SPO for Art Narsolis.
SPO for Art Narsolis for his failure to attend in this committee hearing scheduled today. Duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Comsec,
Mr. Chairman, may we also assign our Sergeant at Arms to be assigned on trying to find out these personalities that the Quadcom is asking. Medyo napapansin po natin that yung ating pong Sergeant at Arms sometimes nagiging lax po sa kanilang assignment. So we'll be asking them also to specifically coordinate with the PNP in order to find out all these personalities that are not appearing in this Quadcom.
thank you, Congressman Fernandez. Comsec, please coordinate closely with the Office of the Sergeant at Arms and the Philippine National Police to implement the arrest order of the Quad Committee in the person of Mr. Art Narsolis.
Yes, sir. I have been coordinating with the Office of the Sergeant at Arms and with the Lola, Police Liaison Officer, who
Thank
is
you.
here, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, in addition, can I request that other than the PNP, can we also ask the assistance of the NBI and other agencies in securing these personalities to be present in our next Quadcom?
Thank you, DSJJ Suarez. Yes, Comsec, you are directed to comply with the manifestation of Congressman JJ Suarez. Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since we have already approved contempt order for PMS Narsoles, Mr. Chairman, my second motion, Mr. Chairman, is to detain Mr. PMS Narsoles in the House premises as may be decided by the chairman until this investigation in the Quadcom with regards to EJK will be terminated. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion to detain Mr. Art Narsolis in the premises of the House of Representatives. And this was duly seconded. Are there any objections? No objections. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the next item, let me just put on record that the violation of PMS Narsoles is with regards to paragraph A of our rules on contempt, refusal to obey summons without legal excuse. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Please
Now,
proceed.
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, I would like to put on record, since this is just an AJK hearing in today's hearing, a lot of invitees was issued a subpoena for the past hearings. Now, let me put on record, Mr. Chairman, that we have issued subpoena for the for Hongsing Gaming Technology Incorporated, for all those officers of the Hongsing Gaming Incorporated, also to Sun Yuan Technology Incorporated, Baofu Land Corporation Incorporated, Lucky South 999 Outsourcing Incorporated, and Lucky South 999 Limited Company. And also with, we have issued a subpoena ad testificandum for the Whirlwind officers of the Whirlwind Corporation, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, I suggest that we will just tackle this issue on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, today's topic is limited to the extrajudicial killings. And in the
Mr.
subsequent...
Chair, before we proceed with the EJK, I'd like to find out also the status of Attorney Harry Roque. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Congressman Benny Abante, we will ask Congressman Paduano to reply to your query as to questions that you raised on Attorney Harry Roque. Congressman Paduano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With indulgence of course, Congressman Co-Chair Abante, let me read the issuance of a subpoena doses tecum to Mr. Harry Roque with regards to documents that he has committed during the previous hearing, Mr. Chairman. Number one, the medical and hospital records and proof of those surgeries performed on his wife, Miss Myla Roque. Number two, deed of sale and BRR and transfer tax payments of the 1.8 hectares land in multinational village, Parañaque. Number three, all documents submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission regarding the transfer of shares to Attorney Percival S. Ortega, including trust agreement with the latter. Number four, extrajudicial settlement of estate of a named aunt, including corresponding BR tax returns. Number five, statement of assets and liabilities, or SALN, from 2016 to 2022, with proof of receipt. Number six, income tax return of John Cham Holdings and Trading Incorporated for calendar years 2014 to 2022. Number seven, Attorney and Ms. Roque's income tax for calendar years 2014 to 2022. Number eight, judicial affidavit executed by Ms. Ronaldine Baterna. And lastly, judicial affidavit executed by Catherine Cassandra Ong. Mr. Chairman, just for the information of everyone, we have received today another motion to quash from Attorney Harry Roque. And for the record will show that we have already discussed lengthily and through the Vice Chairperson, the Committee of Public Accounts Vice Chair, the Honorable Luistro, during that hearing, to deny the motion to quash that was sent to us by Attorney Harry Roque. And it was unanimously approved, Mr. Chairman. So with that, Mr. Chairman, what's the pleasure of the Chair and the Honorable Committee with regards to
Mr. Chair.
the issuance of a subpoena doses tecum for all those listed documents that I have mentioned? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Mr.
Congressman
Chair,
Abante.
may I be allowed to speak on the actuations of Attorney Harry Roque outside the hearing of this Quadcom?
May I ask Congressman Abante to defer that particular statement after we hear from Congresswoman Luistro on the decision of the committee as to the motion to quash filed before this committee by Attorney Harry Roque.
I submit, Mr.
And then
Chair.
after, we will recognize Congressman Abante. Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As mentioned by the Honorable Paduano, the Quadcom is in possession of the Omnibus Motion and Compliance dated September 9, 2024, filed by Attorney Harry Roque. And I wish to remind the Quadcom that this motion originated from our hearing on August 22, 2024, where in the various questions we propounded, Attorney Harry Roque expressed his commitment to produce the documents. And for the understanding of the Filipino people, Mr. Chair, I wish to share excerpt of the video of our hearing dated August 22, 2024. Secretariat, please.
Comsec?
Volume, please.
Congresswoman Luistro, please make this very quick because our topic for today is about extrajudicial
I
killings.
understand, Mr. Chair, so I will forgo with the video. To explain, Mr. Chair, this omnibus motion and compliance is made up of two parts. The first part is the motion to quash, that is from paragraph 1 to 33. And the second part is the compliance to the show cause order, which is reflected in page 34 to 43. This representation wished to make a manifestation with respect to the motion to quash filed by the attorney Harry Roque. In support of the above motion, Mr. Chair, he raised the same arguments which have been deliberated upon already during the last hearing. And to satisfy the requirement of due process, Mr. Chair, let me reiterate our answers to the arguments which he raised. First, that the hearing is not in aid of legislation. In answer to that, let me explain, Mr. Chair, this Quadcom was created to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation pertaining to 4 issues which are haunting us. 1 is dangerous drugs, 2 is extrajudicial killing, 3 is the en masse acquisition of land, and 4 is the POGO operation. In other words, Mr. Chair, we are indeed in exercise of our power to conduct inquiry in aid of legislation which is granted by no less than the Philippine Constitution, Mr. Chair. Second, Attorney Harry Roque argued that the documents requested are not germane to the inquiry in aid of legislation. Again, in the case of Arnold versus Nazareno, there are 2 requirements. 1 is materiality to the subject matter, and second is materiality to the possible legislation. With respect to the first requirement, Mr. Chair, it is the humble submission of this representation that the Quad Committee has established an overwhelming circumstantial evidence showing the connection of Attorney Harry Roque to Lucky South Corporation, which is a POGO operator where we apprehended Chinese nationals victims of human trafficking, murder, and internet scam. Mr. Chair, at the height of the interpellation, we ask about the Biancham Corporation, which owns the property in Tuba, Benguet, where the IT employee of this Lucky South was apprehended. And that is where we started investigating Biancham. And then it was followed by our investigation on the subsidiary companies. As we investigate on Biancham, Mr. Chair, we found out the sudden increase of his assets in 2018, coming from 125,000 before 2016. In 2018, the current assets of Biancham rose to 125 million. At the height of the interpellation, Mr. Chair, Attorney Harry Roque articulated that his money did not come from POGO operation. To emphasize, Mr. Chair, that statement did not come from Quadcom, did not come from this representation. Instead, it came from the mouth of Attorney Harry Roque. This is an admission, therefore, Mr. Chair, that he admits the connection of these documents which we are requiring from him from the investigation on POGO operation that we are conducting right now. To further explain, Mr. Chair, it was admitted that he was the presidential spokesperson during that time with a very limited income. And then we asked him, where did this 65 million came from? Where did this money came from? And he could not explain except that he sold a certain property in multinational company in Parañaque. To conclude, Mr. Chair, there is a question about the source of the money of Biancham Corporation, which belongs to Attorney Harry Roque. And following his question, if he will not be able to prove the legal and valid source of this sudden increase of assets of Biancham, then there is a reasonable ground to believe that indeed he is connected with Pogo operation and this money possibly came from the Pogo operation. The second element, Mr. Chair, is the materiality to the possible legislation. And during the last hearing, Mr. Chair, we reiterated ano po ba ang mga batas na posibleng aamyendahan, muling pag-aaralan in connection to this Quadcom hearing. And we cited RA 3019. This is the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act na baka sakali na ang ating mga government officials ay nakurap because of this Pogo operation. We also have Code of Professional Responsibility of Government Officials that we need to revisit already the provisions of this law to make sure that the government officials and employees do not deviate from what is being mandated by the Code of Professional Responsibility of Government Officials. We also have anti-money laundering. Kulang po ba ang probisyon ng anti-money laundering? At nagkaroon ng mga transfer ng huge amount of money in spite of the existence of this law. We also have corporation law. Bakit po ba nagagamit na shield ang mga corporation in perpetrating illegal activities? We can also consider, Mr. Chair, the Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability for lawyers. Ito po ba'y saklaw pa if the lawyer is already protecting illegal activities of their client? In addition to this, Mr. Chair, we have established already the need to revisit the laws such as the PSA Charter dahil naabuso po ang ating batas patungkol sa late registration, our immigration law on visa issuance, the PAGCOR Charter on licensing of POGO, and the cybercrime law or RA 10175. Mr. Chair, to proceed, another argument that was raised is the right to self-incrimination. And I wish to share again the case of De La Cruz versus People. Napakaliwanag po sa batas na ito. When we speak about the right against self-incrimination, we're talking only about testimonial evidence. And this time, Mr. Chair, what we are asking are documents. The documents which he promised to produce during the hearing of August 22, 2024. Fourth, Mr. Chair, he invoked the right to privacy. And again, in the case of Standard Chartered Bank versus Senate Committee, citing the case of Sabio versus Gordon, the right to privacy is subordinated to the right to public information in matters of public interest. In other words, Mr. Chair, if there is a conflict between the right to privacy versus the right to public information on matters of public interest, the latter should prevail. Mas mataas po ang right to public information on matters of public interest kumpara sa right to privacy. And finally, Mr. Chair, he invoked the right to due process. This is the purpose of our hearing, to give ample opportunity to our resource speaker to explain their side. We satisfy amply the requirement of notice and even the requirement of hearing. But we are all witnesses. He has been dispensing his opportunity to be able to explain before the Quad all the possible allegations which are being imputed by this investigation. Mr. Chair, I wish to add as well, as part of this manifestation, that when he filed the motion to quash, prior to the receipt of the written subpoena, wala pa pong written subpoena na tinatanggap si Attorney Harry Roque. Nag-file na siya ng motion to quash. Why? Because he knows already during the meeting that he expressed his commitment to produce the documents. Reason why we issued the subpoena. To my humble opinion, Mr. Chair, he waived already his right to receive the written subpoena. Second, Mr. Chair, during the last hearing, we extensively discussed his arguments and our answers why we denied his first motion to quash. And third, Mr. Chair, in this motion, omnibus motion and compliance, siya po mismo ang nagsabi. Same arguments ang ni-raise niya. As a matter of fact, he said he is refiling the motion to quash. In other words, Mr. Chair, lahat po ng nakasulat dito ay nasagot na natin during the last hearing. I therefore submit, Mr. Chair, that we should deny this omnibus motion, particularly the motion to quash, because this is already moot and academic. I submit, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Flores.
Mr. Chair, as extensively discussed by Congressman Luistro, stating the grounds why we are in the right as far as our requests for him to submit these documents, and his continued refusal to submit these documents to this Quad Committee, Mr. Chair. I move, Mr. Chair, that we hold Harry Roque in contempt, Attorney Harry Roque in contempt, for refusing to submit the documents subject of the subpoena duces tecum, and of which he has manifested that he was going to submit to this committee, Mr. Chair. I so move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to cite Attorney Harry Roque in contempt, and this was duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Now, just for clarification, we are citing Attorney Harry Roque in violation of Section 11,
D.
Paragraph D.
Paragraph D, Mr. Chair, for refusing to comply with the subpoena, duces tecum, and to submit the documents we requested of him, Mr. Chair. Now, Mr. Chair, in addition, Mr. Chair, I move that we hold Harry Roque in detention for the period of until he submits the documents or until the Quad Committee is dissolved, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to detain Attorney Harry Roque as long as this committee conducts its hearing,
Mr. Chair.
and until we terminate,
Or until he submits the
or
documents.
until he
that we
submits
have
the
asked.
documents required of him.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And this was duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Abante.
Mr. Chair, in addition to what Congresswoman Luistro said, ito pong si Harry Roque is actually a person with a two-faced attitude. This representation recognizes that we have a full plate and that we need to hear the testimonies of resource persons who have been invited to our hearing today. But I feel compelled to raise a matter that I believe should be addressed by this honorable body. Isa sa mga iniimbita natin sa ating inquiry, si Attorney Harry Roque. Hindi lang po siya dating presidential spokesperson, he is also a former colleague of ours in the House of Representatives. At dahilan dito, we were very kind to him. In fact, our senior deputy speaker even asked him only to be detained for 1 day, of which he even questioned that, Mr. Chair. So in the course of our hearings, Attorney Roque was cited in contempt on August 22 for being untruthful about the circumstances surrounding his absence during our August 16 hearing. After being detained and after apologizing to the members of the House, Attorney Roque then went on Facebook and posted, and I quote, "In my view, the contempt ruling smacks of abuse of power and political harassment against an anti-Marcos Jr. critic like me," end of quote. Ay napaka-doble kara naman pala ni Attorney Harry Roque. Mr. Chair. I find this disturbing because if I remember correctly, Attorney Roque was asked if he recognizes the power of the House to hold him in contempt. And he said yes. But the moment he was no longer in our presence, Mr. Chair, he went out and publicly questioned the contempt ruling and accused us of abusing this power. I believe that we cannot countenance such behavior, Mr. Chair. Naging mabait pa tayo sa kanya. I even asked if the Quad Committee would hold in abeyance the contempt charge, just because we were actually kind to him. So this manifestation is being spoken today to inquire if the statements made by Attorney Roque outside our hearings should be grounds to hold him also in contempt, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Abante. Yes, I believe we can defer discussion on that particular manifestation at the moment because we have just cited Attorney Harry Roque in contempt for violating Section 11 of our Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation, which states that failure to submit subpoenaed documents before the committee is a ground to cite him in contempt. So for the meantime, since there was already a motion that was approved unanimously by the body, another motion is also is appropriate, and to where he will be detained. Is there any motion?
Mr. Chair, I submit to the motion of Congressman Flores, no? And I would want to make a motion that Attorney Roque should be detained in the Women's Correction. Women's Correction. Hindi po. Doon na lang sa bikutan natin. Mr. Chair, sorry po sa pagkakamali.
So is that a motion, Congressman Abante? Or Congressman Keith?
Mr. Chair, in deference to Attorney Roque being a former member of this House, Mr. Chair, I move that he be detained in the House premises, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion.
Okay, there is a motion to detain him, detain Attorney Harry Roque at the House of Representatives Detention Facility. And this was duly seconded. Any objection? No objection. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, very quick. Mr. Chair.
Okay, just please make this very, very quick because the topic today is EJK.
Mr. Chair,
So
just for
after-
the sake of giving due course to this omnibus motion and compliance, particularly with respect to the motion to quash, I respectfully move that we disregard the motion to quash on the ground of being moot and academic.
Yes, as stated earlier by Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, we will stand by our previous decision of denying his motion to quash. And again, reiterated by the decisions of the Supreme Court that was cited by Congresswoman Luistro and Congressman Keith Flores. Now,
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Rog Gutierrez.
Mr. Chair, very shortly, just on the matter of the omnibus
make it
motion.
short, yes.
We still have the matter of the response to the show cause order. And I understand it's superfluous given the contempt order, but I think, Mr. Chair, as a body, we should rule on it. And in my opinion, it cites an unspecified condition and an unspecified surgery. It makes mention of an unspecified medical facility. It has been unsubstantiated. And my understanding is it was imparted to me by the ComSec. He did not even submit the medical certificates.
Are you referring to the medical certificate to be submitted to the Quad by the wife of Attorney
No,
Harry
Mr.
Roque?
Chair. This is in response to the show cause order because this is the third absence already by Mr. Attorney Harry Roque. The first absence, the excuse was appearance in arbitration. The second absence was with no written response. And now we issued the show cause order last hearing, and now he has responded through the motion. It was omnibus po. There was a second part of the show cause order. And it would appear, Mr. Chair, that it's an unsubstantiated answer. And I believe, as a matter of course, we should issue a subpoena, Mr. Chair. Although superfluous given the contempt order, I still think that we should move to issue a subpoena ad testificandum, Mr. Chair.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to issue a subpoena for failure to properly answer the show cause order.
Okay, there is a motion to issue a subpoena to Attorney Harry Roque, subpoena ad testificandum for Attorney Harry Roque. And this was duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you, Congressman Gutierrez. Yes, Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just last two items. For the PNP documents to be submitted in this committee, that was mentioned by Police Lieutenant Colonel Espinido in his affidavit, such as the list of police generals and other PNP officials who received money from Kerwin Espinosa's group, as indicated in the ledger, and copies of cleared checks that were recovered from their accountant. Now, Mr. Chair, we have with us Brigadier General Ruel Sandoval of the DIFDM. We'll just ask him later, Mr. Chairman. We'll just hold this particular documents that was ordered to the PNP to be submitted in this honorable committee. Now, lastly, Mr. Chairman, the LRA was ordered to provide a copy of land titles of Northern Cebu Renewable Energy Corporation, and as per information from the COMSEC, LRA committed to submit it in today's hearing, this afternoon. So again, we will just wait for the submission of such documents, Mr. Chairman. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Paduano.
Mr.
Now
Mr.
we
Chair.
Okay, is,
Yes, this
Yes.
in relation to admin
excuse me,
matters.
Congressman Fernandez.
I just would like to make a motion to strike out my statement a moment ago
Which part of your statement? Congressman
that I said that Tony Roque should be detained at the Women's Correctional. I want it stricken out.
Okay, COMSEC, please take note, and it is so ordered. Congressman Fernandez.
Yeah, this is in relation to a letter that was submitted by Cassandra Leong through his lawyer, Attorney Topacio, in relation to also to the suit filed by them before the Supreme Court on behalf of their client, Ms. Cassandra Leong, seeking to stop the Quadcom, no, from disregarding the right of our client to remain silent. Yun po yung sinasabi ng sulat na ito. One of those that are written in this letter. But of course, Mr. Chairman, it was already established by the Supreme Court under GR number 175, 104, that legislative investigation, if I may, Mr. Chairman, that it was ruled by the Supreme Court that a legislative investigation and the court proceedings has different purposes. On one hand, yung pong hearings that are being conducted, like yung pong mga adjudicative proceedings, is to settle dispute of the two litigants. On the other hand, ito pong legislative inquiry in aid of legislation, inter alia, is to gather data and information that will seek to amend or to create new laws na magiging pong effective para i-implement po ng ating pong gobyerno. And accordingly, Mr. Chairman, under the case between Standard Chartered Bank of the Philippines and the Senate of the Philippines, yung pong Senate Committee on Bank and Financial Institution, it is clearly stated on that case that the mere filing of criminal and administrative cases on any courts or quasi-judicial shall not prevent the legislative body to conduct a legislative function. Otherwise, it would be extremely easy to subvert any intended inquiry by Congress through the convenient ploy of instituting a criminal or administrative complaint. Yung pong exercise of the sovereign legislative authority belong to this Congress. And sabi ng Supreme Court, this cannot be made subordinate to any criminal or administrative investigation. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, 4 ito pong mga kaso or decision ng Supreme Court. One is the GR 174-105. Another is the Standard Chartered Bank and Senate Committee on Banks, Financial Institution. Third, yung case against Arnold versus Nazareno. And fourth, yung isang kaso nung kay Garciliano versus the House of Representatives na sinasabi po dito, and the court has no authority to prohibit a Senate committee from requiring persons to appear and testify before it in connection with an inquiry in aid of legislation in accordance with its duly published rules of procedure. Dito emphasizes the importance of the duty of those subpoena to appear before the legislature, even if it incidentally incriminating questions are expected to be asked. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, dito naman po sa sinasabi ni Mr. Topacio, dahil meron po siyang comment na sinasabi, in his comment, Mr. Fernandez said that supposedly the right to remain silent is not applicable to legislative inquiries, but only the right against self-incrimination and other statements. Such legal opinion is laughable because Fernandez is not a lawyer. Also, I must remind Mr. Fernandez that the matter is now before the courts and any such public comments touching on the case may be violative of the sub judice. Well, very clearly, Mr. Chairman, dito po sa ruling ng Supreme Court, yung pong the right to remain silent cannot be invoked by her client. And for the education and information of Mr. Topacio, Mr. Chairman, I may not be a lawyer. I may not be an expert on legal context. Pero wala po siyang monopoly ng legal context. Di ba? Meron na pong mga Google ngayon. At nakakapagbasa na tayo sa Google. And at the same time, Gen Z na po ngayon. Kaya I think grow up, no? At I think yung pong sinasabi niya that he's warning us, no? Through me, that should he make any more such statements, I will have no choice but to file a motion to cite him in contempt of court. But according sa Article 3, di ba, Section 7, Mr. Chairman, we are guaranteed to give information to public, especially if this entails public concern. This must be recognized. And I think medyo offending po yung mga sinabi niya. But again, we have to move that this letter that he submitted to us be disregarded, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Fernandez. Now, may I remind, this is the last discussion on the issue of resource persons related to the POGO because we want to proceed with the hearing on extrajudicial killings. Our resource persons are already present. We take note of the observation and the manifestation of Congressman Dan Fernandez, and certainly with that kind of a manifestation, the committee is bound to take an action. And but I will just ask committee chair of the Public Order and Safety to defer that for the moment, so that we can continue with the committee hearing proper. Is that all right, Congressman Fernandez?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, Mr. Chairman. But I think when we invited the resource persons in the person of Ms. Cassandra Ong, yung pong right to remain silent is not absolute, especially when we are in the process of trying to find out those information and data that is guaranteed under this GR 175-104.
That was clearly stated by Your Honor, so we take note of that. And as I stated earlier, the committee is bound to take action on that particular manifestation. But we now can proceed with the committee hearing on the extrajudicial killings. Congressman
Mr. Chair,
Abante?
As we proceed with the hearing of the EJK, I now would like to introduce one of our resource persons, Colonel Padilla, to be able to answer questions on his knowledge on the EJK that happened in the penal colony that he once headed. So may I now call on Colonel Padilla, please.
Okay. Colonel Padilla is here present.
Good morning, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Superintendent Padilla. We have a list of interpellators for our resource person, Superintendent Padilla. And in number 1 in the list is our Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Dong Gonzales. May I know if our witnesses, the COMSEC, Mr. Tan and Mr. Ano po Magdaro, Magdaro is present?
They're present, sir.
Sige, can you please invite them to... Can you, Paige, can you provide a chair for our witnesses? Hindi kasya eh. Ilan ba sila? Ano ba? Dalawa, okay. Pass it on.
naman, pero ngayon sila na ngayon.
So to the honorable members, we have in our detention facility two of the witnesses who has given, three witnesses who has given their executed an affidavit and which was already present in the two previous hearings on the topic of EJK. And we asked them to be present in our committee hearing today.
Mr. Chairman.
Along with our other resource persons. Yes?
Yeah. Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
JJ.
while we await the arrival of our two resource persons, I noticed the arrival of a certain Attorney Joel Butuyan. Can the COMSEC identify?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, Your Honors, Attorney Joel Butuyan is a resource person. He is representing Sinterlaw for human rights, sir.
Attorney Butuyan, can you please enter your appearance for the benefit of the honorable members of this committee?
Good morning, Your Honors. I am Attorney Joel Butuyan. I am the chairperson of the Center for International Law, and I'm also in the list of counsels in the International Criminal Court, Your Honors.
Thank you, Attorney. So, where are the other witnesses?
Mr. Chairman, if Attorney Butuyan will be serving as one of our resource person, may I inquire from the good COMSEC if he has already...
Okay, please.
Please admit, sir.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry, so help you God? I do. Thank you.
Suspend ko muna.
Hearing suspended for a few minutes.